Hi everyone. Today we are going to continue section 1.5, which was solving quadratics or quadratic equations. Okay, yesterday we learned how to factor when a is equal to 1. Today we are going to learn how to factor when a is greater than 1. Okay, so some of these problems might be a little easier. It's just they're very easy to manipulate. Some are not and require more steps than yesterday. Okay, we are still going to use that same chart with the B and C value to tell us or let us know what signs we are going to use for our factors. So you can refer to that as well. Okay, so the first example, I have y is equal to 2x squared plus 14x plus 24. Okay, so looking at that equation, you need to see if you can divide the leading coefficient, okay, the leading number, to all of the terms. Now the leading coefficient here is 2. So you want to see if you can divide all of those three other terms or two other terms by 2. And the answer is yes. Right? I can divide 2 by 2, 14x by 2, and 24 by 2, which is going to make this problem a little easier than the ones we're going to show you, or the ones I'm going to show you guys later. So because I divided by 2, or I could divide by 2 to every term, I need to remember that I need to bring that out since I'm dividing every term by it. Okay, so this is going to be in our final answer. Now, when I divide that, 2x squared divided by 2 will give me 1x squared. 14x divided by 2 will give me 7x. And 24 divided by 2 will give me 12. Now, all I need to do is factor what's inside parentheses, which is what we learned yesterday, since a is now equal to 1. Okay, so now I'm only looking at inside the parentheses. A is 1, B is 7, and C is 12. Okay, so continuing what we learned yesterday, I am going to create a t-chart with C on top, which would be 12. So I need factors of 12, which would be 1 and 12, 2 and 6, and 3 and 4. So since C is positive and B is positive, then both of my factors for each pair would be positive as well. Now looking at those three pairs of factors, I need to figure out which one will add up to give me a positive 7, since that is my B term. And the last pair of factors gives me that 7. So my final answer would be y equal to, now because I divided by 2 in the beginning, that will be in my final answer. So I have 2, again, because that's what I divided by in the beginning, and then x plus 3, since that's one of the factors, and x plus 4, since that is the other factor. And I'm done. Okay, so being able to divide the leading coefficient or your leading number makes it easier to figure out, okay, since it's easily manipulated. Okay, so let's do another example like that. Okay, so for example number 2, I have y is equal to 3x squared plus 3x minus 168. All of these terms they are divisible, by 3. So I have y equal to 3 goes in the front because that is what I'm dividing everything by. And inside the parentheses, I get 1x squared plus 1x minus 56. Now all you have to do is factor what is inside the parentheses using the same steps that we learned yesterday. So I have a equal to 1, since now that is my new a term, b equal to 1, and c equal to negative 56. So create my t-chart, where negative 56 is my c term, and then write down the factors of 56. So I have 1 and 56, 2 and 28, 4 and 14, and 7 and 8. Okay, so here C is negative and B is positive, so that means that my bigger number has to be positive. The smaller numbers will be negative. Now the smaller numbers from each pair, okay? Now the one that will add up to give me a positive 1 is the very last pair of factors. because that equals to a positive 1. So my final answer is y equal to, do not forget the 3 that you divided by, and then inside the parentheses you get x minus 7 and x plus 8. Okay, now you do have to remember that since these are all being multiplied, the order of them does not matter. Okay, you can also write y is equal to 3 times x plus 8 times x minus 7. It is the same thing. Okay, remember 2 times 3 is the same thing as 3 times 2. So as long as you have the correct signs and factors inside the parentheses, you are fine. All right. Now, sometimes we won't be able to divide by that leading number. And when we can't divide, we are going to use what's called the AC method. Okay, now, the AC method has different variations. The majority of them that you will see is grouping. This is not using grouping, the method that I'm going to use. However, I think it follows similarly what we did yesterday. Okay, so if you still have problems understanding this, please let me know and reach out to me. All right, so like yesterday, I'm going to write down all the steps with an example problem. Okay, so these are steps for factoring using the AC method. Okay, again, and I'm putting this in quotes because this is a variation of the AC method. It's not really what you're going to find using grouping. All right, so the first step is to write your equation. The equation that we are using here is y equal to 4x squared minus 12x plus 5. Okay, so second step is to identify a, b, and c, which was the same step from yesterday. So a here is 4 now, right, because it's with the x squared. B is negative 12. Because that is with the x. And c is 5, because that is a constant without a variable. Now the third step is to multiply a and c and find the factors of that product of your total when you multiply a and c. So a times c is 4 times 5, since those are our values, which equals to 20. So now when I create a chart like I did in number 1 and 2 above, my t-chart, it's not just going to be c, it's going to be ac, which was 20. Okay, so it's not just going to be factors of 5, it's going to be the factors of the product a times c. So my factors of 20 are 1 and 20, 2 and 10, and 4 and 5. Okay, just like before, we are using that chart that I gave you guys yesterday. So now AC is positive, B is negative, which means that both of my factors are negative. The factors that add up to give me a negative 12 are negative 2 and negative 10. And again, we want negative 12 because that is our B term. Now the following step is different. Okay, we are going to write it in factored form just like we would have our final answer here in the examples that we did yesterday. But we are going to divide by that leading coefficient, by our leading number. Our leading number in this equation was a equal to 4. So both of your factors are going to end up being divided by 4. Okay? So let's write that y equal to, this was like yesterday, x in each of them. Now I'm going to write my factors. So I have a minus 2. The only thing is now it's being divided by 4. And the same thing with the 10. So minus 10, again, being divided by 4 because that is my leading number right here. Now the next step is to simplify your fractions if possible. Sometimes you'll be able to do it, sometimes you won't, and that's okay. So for both of these, I am able to simplify. I get y equal to x minus 2 over 4 will simplify to 1/2. And x minus 10 over 4 will simplify to 5 over 2, 5/2. Okay. Now, your final step is that your denominator becomes your leading coefficient, your leading number. Okay, it changes now. Remember that your denominator is just your bottom number in your fraction. Okay, so what that means is that now this denominator goes over here. It becomes your leading number inside the parentheses. Same thing goes for this too. It now becomes your leading number inside that parentheses. Okay, so your final answer would be y equal to 2x minus 1 now. You got rid of the fraction by moving that denominator as the leading number. And this will become 2x minus 5. This is your final answer. All right, moving on, I'm going to do a couple examples with you guys, and then we will do some practice. So I have y equal to 3x squared minus 8x plus 4. Following my steps, I wrote my equation. I'm going to identify what a, b, and c are. Okay, so a here is 3, b is negative 8, and c is 4. So I am going to multiply my a and c. So 3 times 4 gives me 12. So for my t-chart, I need to get factors of 12 because that is what I get when I multiply a and c. So I have 1 and 12, 2 and 6, and 3 and 4. Now because AC is positive and 8 is negative, that means that both of my factors are negative. The ones that add up to give you negative 8 is the middle one. Again, this is B, so that is what I want. And now I'm going to go ahead and write it in factored form. So I get y equal to x in both of them, minus 2 and minus 6. Oops. Now just remember that you need to divide both of those factors by your leading coefficient, which is 3 here. Okay, by your a term. Next step is to simplify the fractions if it's possible. Now 2 over 3 is already simplified, so I'm going to leave it like that for now. 6 over 3, however, can be simplified, and 6 over 3 is just 2. 6 divided by 3 is 2. So I no longer have a fraction there, which is okay. The first one is still a fraction, though, so I need to make that denominator and move it as my leading coefficient, my leading number, in front of that parentheses, in front of that x. So I have y equal to 3x minus 2 times x minus 2 as my final answer. I'm done. All right, for number 2, I want you to go ahead and pause this video and try it on your own, and I will continue working. All right, so identifying A, B, and C here. My A is 2, B is 5, C is 2. I'm going to go ahead and multiply my A and C. So 2 times 2 will give me 4. Factors of 4 are 1 and 4 and 2 and 2. So here my AC is positive, my B is positive, so that means both of my factors will indeed be positive. Now the pair of factors that will add up to give me 5 is the first one. And again, I want 5 because that is my B value. So writing in its factored form, I get y equal to x plus 1 over 2, since that is my leading number, and x plus 4 over 2, since again I need to divide by my leading number. Now the first parentheses does not change because 1/2 is already simplified. However, 4 divided by 2 will give you 2, so I can simplify that. Last step, your denominator in the first set of parentheses will become your leading number. So I have y equal to 2x plus 1 times x plus 2 as my final answer. That's it for today.